Well, hi there. I love the music that I picked for the intro. Dun, dun, dun. I love it. I was dancing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love how it lingered, that applause. Thank you, Mystery Man, for that applause. I appreciate it. So today, I am so thrilled. And you're like, Grace, you're always thrilled. But today, I'm extra thrilled because I met this man. I think it was, oh my God, like, I don't even want to say, like, over 25 years ago. He is hilarious, and I met him way back in Chicago. He was teaching a class, I believe. I don't remember what I did 25 years ago, but I know I do remember meeting Dobie, and we just became friends. I love this guy. He is so amazing, and he just finished shooting a comedy dry special, like those dry bar special, not dry special. What's going on with me? Dry special. It's the heat. Yeah, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But anyway, he has a dry bar comedy special, and it's called The Dented Can. So here we always talk about the challenges that people in the entertainment business have gone through, and then how they overcame them and reached their own state of grace or ideal state of being. So today, The Dented Can is going to tell us how he overcame all the challenges that he had in his life. And there's plenty, believe me. His name is, like, in the comedy world, is Mr. Lucky, and that's sarcasm. So please welcome to the virtual stage my good friend and brilliant comedian, Dobie Maxwell.
Grace, thanks for having me. What an intro. That's going right on my resume. Thank you very much. My energy having me on Friday the 13th, too. This is the perfect day for me to be on.
I know.
Man.
Oh my God, I thought about it today. I'm like, I didn't even plan to book him on Friday the 13th.
Destiny did. Lucky. Fate, fortune, the gods, little G, big G. This is destiny.
This is destiny. I'm telling you, this is insane. I can't believe it. But I just realized it because I do so many things. I booked you, and I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, yesterday I was like, oh my God, this is the perfect day. I'm so happy to have you here on the perfect day to talk about your life, which, Mr. Lucky, you guys get ready, buckle up.
I don't want to be that guy. That's kind of fate gave me that nickname. We met, like I said, 25 years ago. You were 2. I don't know how you did it. I was back when we had it's amazing how my grandma always used to say, I earned every one of these gray hairs, and I did. We all have luck, fortune, fate, kismet, destiny, kind of whatever you want to call it. We all get our little scoop of potatoes when we're born, and it's how we deal with it and come out of it. That's why I love your show so much. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Hopefully people that are watching this can say, but I think therapy is pretty expensive, and it's got an extensive run. Comedy shows, you pay a nominal cover charge. You sit for an hour and a half. You think, wow, my life's not as bad as that. It's discount therapy on a couch. That's what it is.
Yes, and with you, it's hilarious. And it's just your comedy, like as a friend, when I talk to you, how you doing? Oh, let me tell you, it's like a whole list of shit,
Oh, it's amazing how it goes.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Is it really that it happens to you, or is it your perspective too?
I think it's perspective. It really is. Yeah. I was just in a nutshell for his perspective points. I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, what's the first thing that pops into your head when you think of Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Now, New Orleans, I think of gumbo and jambalaya, and I know that's where you're from. What do you think when you think of Milwaukee?
I think of snow.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I wasn't born here, so it's not like. It's not culturally ingrained in me. Like, think Wisconsin. Oh, it's this and that. I think snow. That in the middle, like all those middle states, I think a lot of snow. You know what I mean?
Got it. Most people think cheese and beer and snow, cold weather, things like that. Jeffrey Dahmer. I always get that every time I say, did you know Jeffrey Dahmer? Yeah, there's 2 million people there. We were like this. We had lunch 3 times a week. Thanks for asking. That's the infamous character.
Yes.
You know, so, but I was born in Milwaukee. It's the home of Harley Davidson motorcycles. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's totally true. And my father was a biker. There's a gang called the Outlaws, and he rode with them. And my mother abandoned our family. I was 5 months old. I got an older brother, older sister. My brother's 2 years older. He passed now. My sister's 4 years older. Yeah. And my grandpa said, you know, I tried to reach your father. There's nothing I could do. I tried my best to be a good dad to him. And he says, but you were 5 months old. I had to raise you. So I was raised by my grandparents. So I was old when I was young, growing up in the 70s. And I was hearing things from their generation. They lived through the Great Depression. So God forbid I would want anything that was above and beyond just, you know, dirt. They walked up hills to school 12 miles and everything. And Grandma and Grandpa fought a lot. So it was just, you know, you see that horrible situation. They got divorced when I was 12.
Wow.
And, yeah, most comedians come from horrible childhoods. You want to see the best comedians, you know, the tears of a clown when no one's around. And I always had a quick wit, and the one thing I could do was make people laugh. And my teachers in school, there was a show called Hollywood Squares. Do you remember that when you were a kid?
Yes.
It was on. There's different incarnations of it. Way back, Paul Lynde was on it. I don't know how old our listeners are, our viewers are, but it started in the 70s, and I watch it. And they would ask a question, and then the celebrity in the Hollywood Squares would have a smart answer, you know, a funny answer. And I thought that was great. So I did it in school. When my teacher would ask me a question, I would sit back and I would give a Hollywood Squares funny answer, and it would crack the class up. And it's like, you know the answer, but you have to be funny. You think you're going to grow up and find a job where you get paid to tell jokes? And hey, that's a good idea. I didn't think that was possible. So at age 9, that became a goal right there. So, and I found out later that those they had writers to write all those jokes for Hollywood Squares. I was doing it by myself in the back of the classroom, you know. So, and it was a deflection of all the horrible horrors at home. You know, my grandpa said, you know, he was great. If it wasn't for him, I'd be dead or in jail. My grandmother was German. I don't know if we have any Germans, Grace. I don't know if you have any German blood in you. Germans can fix mechanical things. They're pretty good at that. German food is pretty good. I think Italians have the top, but the other ethnicities have great food. German food is good. Germans aren't funny. Sorry. No. They're not the one for their warm humor and their wit.
Yes.
You know, Kraut Top does not exist. There are no funny Germans. So Milwaukee,
I was in Germany, so I know. My father had a partner who was German and not funny. And they were like, they thought I was hilarious.
You are hilarious.
Like, no, but I wasn't even a comedian at the time. I was much younger. And you know, but when they see funny and they hear funny, they're like, ooh, you know, they're like a good audience because I guess they don't hear funny a lot.
They don't hear funny at all.
No.
There's not in the gene pool. And I hate to be stereotypical, but it's like Milwaukee has a German festival. Okay. They have never had a comedian. There's a lot of, it's called the city of festivals too. And every ethnicity, and it's good. I mean, they have an Italian fest and an Irish fest and a Polish fest and an African World Festival. And that was one of the first gay pride festivals was in Milwaukee too. So they do the gamut. But I had a friend I went to school with that said the German Fest was big. The biggest one outside of Germany is in Milwaukee. And they said, we've never had a comedian here before. I went to school with you. I know you're funny. I had to go in front of the board. The German. So why do you want to do comedy at the festival? And it's like, I felt like I was in the Nuremberg trials. It's like, what are you grilling me here for? I'm trying to do a comedy show here. So I did about 5 minutes of my act, and they're like, okay, if we'll get back to you. And they did book me. Okay, so I got the gig, and I talked to my friend. He goes, they're all here. You better be funny. It's like, okay, well, you saw my show, and it is what it is. So it's an outdoor stage, and there's probably, I'm guessing, about 5,000 people here. And a lot of them are German. A lot of them are, you know, from the old country that are in here. And thinking, okay, I'm going to go on. About an hour before the show, Grace, I'll never forget this as long as I live. The darkest, most ominous, evil clouds came, and it was a biblical storm of epic proportions. There was lightning. Have you been to Florida and you see the rain come this way? This is Wisconsin. You know, a cow might pee on a rock. That's about the most water you get at any one time. So it stopped the festival. The sirens went off. They cleared the festival grounds. And to this day, no comedian has ever performed at German Fest in Milwaukee. That's the kind of story in my life. That's one story like that after another. And after a while, my grandpa said, you know, he said, if how clean. I don't usually work dirty, but he said something that's kind of adult, and it doesn't swear words. So if you have to bleep it, I hope you can. He said, if my pecker was half as hard as your life, your grandma would be smiling all the way to church.
I can't. Mystery Man, can you put up the Jose's comment?
Okay, sorry about
We're
that.
getting a lot of sound effects today. So
Yeah.
Jose is saying maybe beer jokes would fly at that festival. What do you think?
Yeah, beer jokes probably would do that. And it's one of those things where, I mean, I grew up there, so I got it. I could make all the local references. I was ready to go, but the Lord or whoever decided to cancel. It's like, we're not having comedy at the German festival.
I cannot. So what happened after that? You know, how did you get into comedy in Milwaukee? It was
I was a baseball player, believe it or not. I am left-handed. I don't know if anyone listening is left-handed. I'm the only one in my family is. I have 2 siblings, natural siblings, and a half sibling. They're right-handed. Mother, father, uncles, aunts, grandparents, cousins. I am the only left-hander, and I was a baseball player. Left-handed pitcher is a position, and I had a tryout with the Kansas City Royals when I was 19 years old, and I got a second look, but I didn't get signed. I mean, I'm about 5'10", and they want you to be 6'2", and I don't have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and I didn't make it. I thought my whole childhood, the only thing I thought I was going to be in a Hall of Fame baseball player. What do I do now? So there was an ad in the newspaper, and it said comedy open mic. I had no idea what that was. Live stand-up comedy. And I'm thinking in my mind, well, I'm pretty funny, and there's probably going to be about 3,000 or 4,000 people there. And I walked into this place, and there was 7 people in there. And I thought, okay, I went outside. Am I the wrong night? I looked, no, it says this night. And I walked back in there, and the show had started, and it said, we've got 7 of the funniest comedians in Milwaukee. Besides the bartender, I was the only one that wasn't a comedian. And it was absolutely, I thought, these guys are terrible. I can do that. And by the end of the night, more people had come in, and there was probably 30 or 40 people in the club. And it was a jazz club. I don't know if you ever heard the singer Al Jarreau. He started singing at that club. It's a place called Sardinos. I can plug it because it's no longer there. So it's a jazz spot in Milwaukee, and it was a mob joint. And it was mob joints. They know how to run nightclubs. It was really well run. And at the end of the night, they said, this is open mic. If anybody wants to come up and try comedy, now's your chance. And I don't know what it was. My hand just automatically went up. I had no act. I had no idea what I was going to do.
Nothing. Wow.
So I went up there, and I thought, okay, I'll talk a little bit. And nobody knows how silence can be when you say something in front of a crowd of people you don't know, and you think it's funny, and they don't. You've been there. It's like, like walking on the moon. Oh my goodness, that was just absolutely horrible.
Sometimes, like time is like in the Matrix. It just switches, and you watch the videos, and it's like it was 2 seconds, but to us it feels like 5 minutes.
Yes. That was like a prison sentence. So I'm laying bomb after bomb. And what happened was there was a guy in there, and he's making the moves on a woman. So I ad-libbed something, and I don't remember what it was, but that was my first laugh in front of a crowd. I mean, I was used to it in school, and I was pretty quick, but I said something quick off the cuff, and that's like the shot of heroin that goes into your arm. It's like, oh, this is great. There's 30 or 40 people, but when you get a solid pop, a solid laugh, that's what, to this day, I think that's what hooked me in. And it's like, that's okay, amazing. I got the laugh. And the person that ran the show said, oh, you want to come back next week? They just needed bodies back then. It wasn't like it is now. At the time, it's like there was actually, they needed comedians. Now there's like bugs on a bumper. There's too many.
Absolutely. And comedy, you've said to me the other day, it's full of shit. Now, what do you mean by that? And how have you navigated the often harsh realities of the comedy world?
Well, here's what I learned. And if anybody here is watching that is an aspiring comedian, I want to tell you something that you need to know because I didn't know it for many years. It's show business. The business is first, more important than the show. And people like Grace and myself and many other comedians that we get along, I can get along with the people that are concerned about the show because like you want to be funny. The business part, that is a whole different skill. And I don't care how good your show is, without business, no one's going to see your show. And I didn't know that for a long time. And there are some people in every kind of entertainment business that prey upon those that are artistic, music, actors, magicians, comedians, ventriloquists, whatever you want to say. And they look to exploit those people. Hey, I got this gig. It's 500 miles away. It pays $20. And I know you can have to hitchhike in a blizzard and get there, but they might give you half a sandwich and you're going to get your drinks at 10% off. And you're going to be staying, you don't get a hotel. You'll be staying in a dumpster by the abortion clinic right on the way out of town. And you'll be eating your food out of a garbage dump. And it's probably, Okay, I'll do it. Yes. Oh, can I bring Grace Fraga with me? She's great. I could get some, and I'll call you and say, hey, we're going to split this gig. And it's exaggerating, but only a little. And I think that, in a situation where people have had a dented can, I got that whole thing, I worked at a grocery store in high school. And I saw how the dented cans went through no fault of their own. They're not placed with the normal, regular cans. They're put in that shelf or the cart in the back of the store. It's like the island of misfit toys,
Yes.
Misshapen fruits and vegetables. You got a zucchini with a goiter on it. It goes in the cart. You got somebody drops a bag of flour. They put duct tape around it and they put it in the cart. And it's got a piece of paper, not even a sign, buy this stuff, get it out of the store. We don't want it. We'll take anything in trade. A monopoly money, aluminum cans, baseball cards. It's crap. It's junk. And that's where the dented cans go. And I noticed that as a kid, it's like there's nothing wrong with the inside, but the outside, it has become so the dented cans in life, we all put out a vibe. And sometimes your parents tell you you're not good enough. You're never going to amount to anything. And it's like that vibe comes and gets warped. And it doesn't mean you're not talented or good or anything smart, but you tend to believe it sometimes. And you have to constantly fight. And not only that, you're fighting with booking agents in show business that are thinking, okay, well, you said you wanted $100. I get someone to do it for $40. Well, I'll do it for $30. And they don't have anybody to do it for $40, but they're doing it to you. So it's like, well, I need that love that I didn't get from mom and dad and anybody else. So I'll drive that. It's a bad vicious circle. And I think it
really is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It really is. And to make money in comedy, you have to be a name. Like if you want to make good money, I think that's, if you're a headliner, which you are, and I headline sometimes, but I'm not like a road comic. You've been a road comic all your life. Like you're headline all over. And remember, we worked together at Wise Guys.
I do.
And actually, we worked together, or there was we were like the first show, and then you were this or something on Friday. I think it was us with that all-female comedy group, and then you were there like on the weekend or something. And I remember you were so freaking hilarious, and you've always headlined. Were you able to make a living? And how hard was that life to just travel all the time and crazy weather and just,
You great questions. I mean, back in the 80s, one thing I was lucky at, I came around in comedy at the best time in history. I started in November of 1983, and I was full time by about the middle of 1985. Okay. And I was 22 at the time, and you could make a living because comedy clubs were exploding all over the country. And if anybody's watching this, comedy clubs are shrinking now, but they used to be every bigger town had at least one, but you get the big cities, they had 5 or 10 clubs, and they would run from Tuesday or Wednesday through Saturday or Sunday. So you've got 5 or 6 days in one place. They always put you up, a place called a comedy condo. Usually it's an apartment somewhere.
Right.
It wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
And then there was a hotel somewhere. So they take care of your board. You have to get there. And your food, you can, a lot of times at the club, they would feed you and you get stage time. So at age 22 or 23, looking back on it, I was absolutely horrible. I had no business near sound amplification equipment, but everybody starts and they're horrible. That's how it was. So I didn't realize how lucky I was at the time. And they had changed. Atlanta, there's still a club there called the Punchline. That's where Jeff Foxworthy started.
Yes.
That's where a lot of big comics started. But they had at the time maybe 12 or 13 clubs in Charlotte, North Carolina, Houston, Texas, Birmingham, Alabama, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, and the Punchline. So you call the booking agent and they would say, okay, you did really well in Atlanta. We're going to send you to all the other punchlines. And as an opening act or a feature act, and again, please forgive me, I don't know who's watching or not, but the comedy club format for a 90-minute show, the opening act does 15 or 20 minutes, the feature or middle act does 25 to 30 minutes, and the closer or headliner does 45 to 50 minutes. That's usually what it is.
Yes.
So everybody starts at the bottom as an opener. So I started as an opener, so they would have you 2 times a year. So if they got 15, 20 clubs, for one phone call, I've got half of my year, 6 months booked, and I'm working 6 days a week. So I'm usually Monday or Tuesday is your travel day, and you go to the next town, which is a couple hundred miles away. And I always had some, crappy car, so I would get there, and then I'd be in the town. So I was able to squeak by and make a living and work with people that were headliners and learn from them. Very much like minor league baseball. It was a great experience back then, and I had a horrible life. I had nothing really to go back to, so I was on the road constantly, sometimes 45 and 50 weeks a year, because there was no internet. You know, there was a cable TV it wasn't everywhere. So comedy clubs, people came out, they watched the show, they weren't on their phone checking TikTok videos. It was people say, "Oh, what was it like back then?" Well, it was pretty good. And you never thought it would end.
Absolutely. Well, everything always comes to an end, including rock bottom moments. And I wanted to ask you if you can share a moment when you felt you were like at complete rock bottom, and how did you pull yourself out of that place and find humor and light in your situation?
Okay, here's a quick one for you. I wrote a book. I'm going to plug my book. Is that okay?
Please, absolutely.
Okay. It's called Monkey in the Middle. And the reason it's called that is my very best friend from childhood. Grace, did you have a best friend when you were a kid?
Of course.
What was her name?
Sylvina.
Okay. And what age were you when you met Sylvina?
Oh my God, we were babies. Our moms introduced us from stroller to stroller. Yes.
I was 11. I met my best friend. His name was Tim, but he became Timbo. I don't know how, but he was Timbo. Yes. So he was 6 months older than me, but he a year ahead in school, but we were 6 months apart. So we coming of age things together. And in high school, I got him his first job at an ice cream stand that I worked at. And I got him a job there, and we took driver's ed together, and we double date and all those kind of things. Well, he worked at a bank, and he decided he wanted to rob the bank that he worked at. They laid him off. He was the head of security. Yes. So my childhood best friend, picture Savina robbing a bank. He didn't rob it once. He robbed it twice, and he tried to blame the second one on me. And the reason it's called Monkey in the Middle is because he wore a gorilla mask and a tuxedo, and a helium balloons like a gorillagram. And the reason he did that, he told me later, was there was a gorillagram that would go downtown in Milwaukee where we grew up. And he said he copied that whole idea. So the guy in the gorillagram was having breakfast the day he robbed the bank, and the cops go in there and they're mashing his head into his eggs because they thought he robbed the bank when my friend Timbo robbed the bank in a copycat suit. And it's a 380-page book. I don't consider myself a writer, but my publisher said that is the most amazing story I've ever heard in my entire life. So I had to sit in court and testify against my best friend Timbo. And we'd be here for hours. I won't tell you the whole story, but you asked me when I was at the low point. Okay. Man. There was a time in my life for about 3 months when I thought I was going to prison for a bank robbery I did not commit. My lawyer said, the FBI thinks you did it. So if you did, tell me, and we'll negotiate the least amount of prison time. So one thing led to another, and I was on the road I had a 3 weeks run in, I'll never forget it. It was Colorado Springs. It was Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was Tucson, Arizona. It's a club chain called Laughs, which are now, I think they're all gone now. And 6 nights a week, I would have to go on stage at night and be funny for 45 minutes in front of strangers I didn't know. And then this is before the internet now, before cell phones. I had to go back in the comedy condo and use the phone, which was very expensive at the time to do that, to call my lawyer. And I'd be on with my lawyer on the phone for like 6-7 hours a day, testifying, trying to get myself out of having to go to prison. I couldn't tell the other comedians. I couldn't tell the staff. I couldn't tell, and it's like I had to keep that quiet. And at the end of the week, I got my pay. And years later, I went back to all those clubs and I said, I just want to sincerely apologize. When I was there, I know I wasn't virtuous. We thought you didn't like us. You were really funny and you seemed really nice, but you just left right after your show and you schmooze with us and hang out. And I said, well, I was going through a bank robbery situation. Oh my gosh, that's so horrible. So talk about, I have at this particular time, my grandpa died when I was 18. So I was on my own since then. And my grandmother and I did not speak for many years. So I'm literally by myself in life. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, you gotta make sense. So I was totally alone. I'm 1,500 miles from home. I think I might go to jail. And now I got to be funny on stage 6-7 nights a week. How do you do that? What do? You reach back and you do it. And then immediately when you get off stage, you go back and you cry yourself to sleep. What am I going to do? Yeah. It was just dark. And I still have nightmares about it to this day. And it's like, it's horrible. Yeah. Horrible
PTSD from that.
Yeah. He had a gun and the FBI said, he's got a gun. I said, yeah, I was with him when he bought it. It's not illegal to buy a gun. We went shooting at the range.
Pew pew instead of a gun. G-O-N. Say pew pew.
Oh, pew pew.
YouTube. Yeah. Pew pew.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it.
A pew pew. Yeah.
A pew pew. I apologize. I should know my.
No worries. No worries. Listen. Okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I won't say it again. Well, anyway, the pew pew. I told the FBI. I said mine have my fingerprints on it. I can't say that he didn't try to blame me and go shooting with it. And I said, I'm not denying it. It's not illegal to own a pew-pew.
Exactly. Oh,
and it was
my
totally
God.
legal. So one thing led to another. And he told me, it's just, I'm trying to think. I get the book. If you're watching Grace's show, I will send you a PDF. I'm not trying to sell books here or shill myself. If you want to buy one,
absolutely.
But if you want a free one, I'll give it to you. It's 380 pages, and it's a complicated thing. This took years to play out. Okay. And I finally, I had a radio job in Reno, Nevada. It was at a country radio station. And I took that job sight unseen because I wanted to get away from him. I didn't want to be around it anymore. And I'm just trying to get away. So the FBI calls me up and they said, hey, you're from Milwaukee. Yeah. You're in Reno now. What are you doing there? Oh, I have a radio job here. Oh, well, hey, they mentioned Timbo's name. Says, we think he robbed the bank, coming in. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. So I basically tried to cover for him. I'm 2,000 miles away. I just said, look, I don't know. If my best friend would have robbed the bank, you think he would have told me about it. Oh, well, then there was about 2 years later, there was a second bank robbery with a gorilla suit and a tuxedo. You being a comedian and all, that made the front page of the paper and it was all over the media. I bet you thought it was pretty funny being a comedian and all. I said, well, I don't know how funny bank robbery is, but yeah, I heard about the story. Right. Oh, okay. Well, we'll be in touch with you. So about 2 weeks later, I got off the air at the radio station at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was the morning show. And 10:01 a.m., the boss comes in our office. Hey, Dobie, the FBI is here to see you. Do you have any idea what it's about? Yeah, I think I know what it's about. So they took me in the office of the general manager and they sat me down. There was two guys. It wasn't good cop, bad cop. It was bad cop, worst cop. They were not joking around. I said, okay, Smarty Pants, we're going to cut the crap. We think your buddy did the first bank robbery and we think you did the second one. Mr. Comedian, that's exactly what a comedian would do. Dance around outside the bank with a gorilla mask on. Ha, ha, ha. It was on the front page of the news. Everybody's talking about it. The gorilla bank robber. That's why I called it Monkey in the Middle. What I didn't tell you, I had a near fatal car accident. I turned 30 years old the week after my 30th birthday. I had a convertible, which I really wanted. Now, living in Wisconsin, my birthday is March 14th. So March 21st, a week after that, I'm coming back from a gig, 2 o'clock in the morning. What happened was, true story, I'm not making it up, a drunk driver fell asleep behind the wheel. It was in a horrible neighborhood. He went up on the curb and he knocked a light pole on its angle. It wasn't all the way out. It was just at an angle. And there were live electric wires across 6 lanes of traffic. And it was like a bowl, and 2 or 3 feet was the lane that Mr. Lucky was in the left-hand lane. I didn't see it. It flips underneath my front bumper and wheel and flips the convertible. Now my top was up, but it's like a Dixie cup. It flipped it upside down, crushing the car. I slid for about 3 blocks and I hit a mailbox and I hit the gear shift. So I bounced off there. So I had my sternum is broken. They're coming. The ambulance is coming for the drunk driver. So they came for me because I was hurt worse and woke everybody up. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and they put a chain around my Mustang. It was a Mustang convertible. They put it up on its side and they sliced open the top like a cocoon. And I came flopping out and I had blood in my glass in my hair and I'm laying there and I didn't know if I was going to live or die. And I was in shock. It was horrible. And there was a TV station about a mile away. So they had a TV news camera was right in my face. And there were cops and there were paramedics and the people that I woke up and they said, you've been hurt really bad. Just let us know you can hear us. Say something. Now, what do you say in a situation like that?
I don't know.
I'm laying there and I said, I've fallen and I can't get up. And everybody started laughing. Everybody started laughing. Said, what are you, a comedian or something? Uh-huh. So they took me back to the hospital that I was born at. And that had broke my sternum, my jaw. I broke my jaw. I was wired shut. And I had to learn how to walk all over again. So it was horrible. Wow. And I'm healing from this. Now, my Timbo, my best buddy, had bought a no money down real estate course, those late night things. And he bought with stolen bank money from the first robbery, which I didn't know about. He bought a couple of houses. Well, I'm on the road 50 weeks a year. I had a roommate and I was in one of his houses. Yeah. So he tells me, he says, hey, this is what I did. I robbed the bank. I'm sorry. I said, if the cops come over, the FBI, I'll take I wanted to tell you. I tried to hint at it. And you didn't take it. I said, no, because I'm not a scumbag like you.
Right.
Thinking about it. And you think about robbing a bank, but okay, we're not going to do that. I got to get arrested. Well, he did it. He didn't tell me for almost a year later. So again, I'm hobbling. I'm in bad shape from that. I hobbled across the street when he robs the bank the second time in the gorilla suit, and I'm thinking, well, what do I do now? My car is wrecked. I don't have. He took me out. I looked in the bank. Oh, okay, so I get on the bus, and I rode home. This again before cell phones, a long time ago, and I hobbled. Took me a while to hobble home, and upstairs, of course, they're on the second floor, and the noon news came on, 12 o'clock news. The lead story. A man in a gorilla mask robbed a downtown bank. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is surreal. What am I going to do? And they're interviewing somebody. He gave my kid a balloon. I didn't think he was a bank robber. He was so friendly and nice. And at the end of the story was suspect still at large. So he got away with it. So he came over to the house about an hour later and he said, hey, did you watch the noon news? I said, you're sick. You're out of your mind, man. I said, look, we're done. I'm going to heal up here and I'm going to move out. And we had a lifetime of friendship, but I'm going to start my own life. He said, look, man, here's $7,000. Okay. He goes, it's not marked money. He was the head of security. So he knew what the marked bills were and weren't. He goes, look, you're wasting your time in Milwaukee. Go to LA. You're funny. You got a chance to make it. And I said, that's stolen bank money. I would like to take it. I'm not taking it. He said, well, it'll be here if you need it. So that's how I took the job in Reno to get away from him. Took me a couple of months. The sternum is the hardest bone in your body to break. I don't recommend breaking it. I broke mine twice. Every time there's a rainstorm or humidity, I can feel it to this day. And so I just wanted to get away from them. It's all the stuff came in. Well, the short. I know this. I'm rambling on here. This is the short version of the story. So please, if you want a copy of the book, I'll send you a PDF. It's all true. I'm not nearly clever enough to make this up. So my point is, how do you keep your sense of humor when all this is happening around you? How do you stay grounded? How do you stay positive? Quite honestly, it's hard. Yeah. You know, I'm not a drinker. I'm not a druggie, but I thought about it so many times. Of course. Without another word I probably can't say, but what is it? The boo-boo? What do you call that?
Pew-pew.
The pew-pew. I had a pew-pew right here on Christmas Eve because it was a horrible situation. And I thinking, what am I going to do? My best friend is, and I wrote it. I pulled the trigger. And the gun jammed, and it didn't go off.
No. Okay, the pew-pew.
Oh, I'm sorry, the pew-pew went off.
Yeah.
It didn't go off. So I'm just shaking.
Wow.
I sat down, and I wrote about a 12-page letter to my father. And I said, you shirked your duties as a father. Our mother left us. I should be a druggie. That I got to the point where I wanted to take my own life. And I really, I tried to, and you never encouraged me. You never did anything. And I just want you to know that there's whatever I did, you had nothing positive to do with it. Wow. So we had a one-on-one. I don't know how your father and I met your mom. She seemed nice to me, but parental relationships have some deep roots and some tangled webs.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes you don't understand it until you're an adult. I was 31 years old and I sat down with my father and I told him everything I wanted to tell him face to face. And that was a hard thing to do. He was a biker. He was tough. He was a growly voice and everything. And I got absolutely nothing out of it. I sat there and he could not have been any worse, and he wanted an apology. Okay, I'm sorry. There. Am I the evil ogre that you remember as a kid? Yes. God. Yes, you were. Yeah. Our brother, my brother's 2 years older. He passed away now. My dad would just beat him senseless. And it's like he was the kindest, sweetest, laid back. And he was a 7th degree black belt. He eventually became a black belt. Wow. And he said, I needed the discipline to deal with our father. And if it wasn't for martial arts, I would be dead. He was Billy Idol's bodyguard for a while. Wow. He was. And he would take a bullet for you. And he was the kindest, gentlest guy. And he had a wife and kids. And he didn't want to be how our father was to us. Right. So he was just extra peaceful. All he ever wanted to do was just be nice. And people would want to poke him. And he was about 5'7". He looked like he got off the ZZ Top tour bus. He had a long beard and a long ponytail. That's just what he was. Yeah. And he was just not pretentious. And people, they heard he's a badass. And they wanted to, hey, come on, look. Let's just play a game of pool. Let's have a beer. That's not anything what I'm because he said the martial arts, you don't go and show it off. You defend yourself. It's a mindset. You don't just walk around like, hey, look at me. Yeah. I got a smart mouth. I'll get punched in a second. He goes, no. He goes, you dealt with our father with comedy. I dealt with it with martial arts. Right. And just, it was wonderful. And he had a stroke and he was in a nursing home for 5 years, paralyzed on his left hand side. And did he complain one time? he ever did. He was the most peaceful, kind-hearted. He never said a bad word about our father. And that is where I got the strength. Because he used to drive a forklift. He said he wanted to raise his kids. He goes, when I'm on that forklift and I want to crawl off of it and punch my boss, I think of my brother up there on that stage making people laugh, and that keeps me going one more day. And I said, well, you know what? I'm on that stage getting heckled by some drunken pinhead from, Okoboji, and I think of my brother sitting on that forklift, and that's what keeps me going another day.
I love that.
We love each other. And I think, there's got to be somebody in your life when you're watching this, whoever that is. And you think it's supposed to be your parents, and a lot of times it isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a friend. Maybe you want it to be your spouse. And I never wanted to put a wife and kids through this horrible business.
I hear you.
Marriage is hard enough. Relationships are hard enough. I know you're an expert at relationships, and we used to talk about this a lot. Yeah. And, narcissistic abuse and all these terms that I had no idea existed until Grace, she schooled me on a lot of those things, and you were totally right about it. So thank goodness I didn't have kids. I didn't think I was ready to have kids of my own. So I had to work
it's hard. And also being a comedian, you travel a lot, and it's hard also financially because comedy is not what it used to be. It's way different now, and with the internet and TikTok and comedy specials that you can watch at home,
this is the devil. Seriously, you can watch any comedian, including you and me, on this for free. No offense. I know. It's good if you're a comedy fan, but if you're a comedian, not so good.
No bueno. I know. Well, now there's different ways you can make money. We'll talk about that when
I sold a kidney last week. I can split that with you. I got $200. Is that good? Thank you, Mystery Man. Appreciate that. Fans on the Grace.
Yeah. Well, I need to coach you on how to sell it for a little bit higher than 200.
Okay. Well, I got another one. I may have a 2-for-1 sale on kidneys.
Right. I should have sold my boob when I had the mastectomy, maybe. Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's a celebrity boob. You can.
That's right. I know. Why? I wonder where it is in some trash can now, decomposing. Isn't that gross?
No, yeah, but I mean, okay, look at all you've been through. I hate to, monopolize the conversation, and I know your fans love you, and I do too for that, because you know what? I'll tell you this. I think some people come into your life for a reason. And we were in Chicago. It was a comedy. I teach classes because when I had my car accident, I couldn't walk for 6 months. And I had a local college. I was in the newspaper in Milwaukee, local comedian and DJ. I had a radio show there too. In a near-death car accident, and the local college club said, "Hey, you're not going to be doing anything for a while. Do you want to teach a comedy class?" I said, "Well, you can't teach comedy. You're either funny or you're not. We'd be willing to pay you a little bit. Tuesday at 7:00, we're having a comedy class." So I mean, I started teaching classes, and one thing led to another, and I just think that that's a way to really help and mentor people too, because I've had more than 3,000 students now. I was the official teacher of Zanies in Chicago as a big club there, and I taught classes there. So we had a big conference, and my comedy mentor was a guy named Gene Parrott, who's Bob Hope's head writer.
Oh yes, he was on my Love at First Laugh podcast before he passed away.
Well, that's the thing. Well, his daughter Linda and I, we had lunch when I lived in LA, and he was just one. I said I read that book and I met Gene. Now this story that I just told you, he invited me over for dinner, and I told that story at the dinner table at Gene Parrott's house, my comedy mentor. And what a thrill. I'm thinking, here I am telling them, and they're just riveted hearing the story. And he's got 3 Emmy Awards, from writing for Carol Burnett Show and Welcome Back, Kotter. And on the way out of the show, I saw these 3 Emmys and said, "Hey, I didn't know you were a bowler." And I looked at his Emmys, and everybody just kind of stood there, and it's like, am I supposed to laugh? I don't know what to do. It's very awkward. And he said, "Yeah." He said, for a first time meeting somebody, he goes, "Not only did you tell me that story, you insulted he was kidding, because you insulted my Emmys." I said, "I wasn't insulting you." So my point is, we were running this. It was a comedy conference in Chicago. They had a Gene Parrott, and they called the Round Table. He did 19 of them, and they stopped at 20th. I said, "Well, you got to do a 20th." He goes, "You put it on, I'll show up." I said, "Well, I'll do it in Chicago. You get a whole different clientele." You were there. I think we got a really good turnout. We had about 50 or 60 people. And he said, the only reason I couldn't make it is if Bob Hope passed away. So I'm thinking, okay, well, he's 100 years old. So I'm watching CNN. You can see this, Grace. Okay, a little crawl across. Legendary comedian Bob Hope passes away. It was 3 days before the conference. Gene Parrott calls me up. "Hey, I'm sure you heard Bob Hope died." I say, "Mr. Lucky, what are the chances that he lived 100 years, 3 days before you're supposed to come to LA, to Chicago, he dies. So that's a true story. But that's where I met you. You were at that conference.
Yeah,
Gene
definitely.
Carey was supposed to be there too.
Oh, I don't remember him being there. So that was
he
the
wasn't
one
there because Bob
I
Hope
attended.
died.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Tim Joyce was there.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good friend too. And then I don't remember much. I do remember I was married, and there was some of the comedians. They were like meeting in the room, and they wanted me to go up in the room with them. I was like, I was like a sheltered wife, and all of a sudden these comedians are inviting me to go to their room. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't you, but it was like other like, and some of them were teaching. I know I'm outing them, but I was like, what? Like a Harvey Weinstein thing. What is this? Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, that's another thing. Like when you're a female comedian, I didn't know until I got into it. You just, they objectify you too. It's really weird.
There's a lot of broken people, not just dented cans, but people that run it. And during the pandemic, everybody had to make a living doing something. I worked at a convenience store chain in Wisconsin called Quick Trip. There's a couple of them around the country, but this is voted by one of the top 10 places to work in the country. And the people that I worked with were just wonderful. I'm thinking, okay, they didn't have problems, but they weren't. I would have gone to their house for Thanksgiving. They were kind. They were just, oh, you're so funny, working behind the counter. Aww. You should be a comedian. Well, I was a comedian for
right. Yeah,
but I didn't see the brokenness. I saw families. I saw love. I never worked in a place like that. I did comedy my whole life. But comedy, you can just tell people, oh, hey, congratulations on that club. Who books that? Because they want to get in, or you're on a TV
all the
show.
time. Yeah.
They want you to just have a heart attack and die, so they could drag your smoking carcass off the stage, so they can have the rest of not all comedians, but a large percentage.
A lot of them. Yeah.
Very jealous, very petty, very self-centered. And I think you have to be to get ahead in the business, and that was bad enough when I was coming up the ranks to even be a headliner. It's like you can't fake that. 45 minutes in front of a crowd, that's a long time, and you got to get them laughing.
Absolutely.
While I was doing the clubs around the country with my check engine light on and bald tires, and I was making a living. Smart people like you and others went out to Los Angeles, and they charged up their credit card at the Improv, buying rounds of drinks, hoping to get Bud Friedman's attention or Mitzi Shore's attention at the Comedy Store to get a TV show. That's the smart way to do it. I didn't do it that way. I'm good at the show. I'm bad at the business.
But it's also hard because, listen, I even had a producer who is related to Quincy Jones. I met him at a party, and he was like 21 when I met him, and we became friends. And I had Steve Scrovan, who's a good friend, as the showrunner, and we pitched him, the producer, the 21-year-old producer, Steve Scrovan, and myself went to like 23 pitch meetings. To pitch. Wow. Three of them, we had 3 bites, and then they rejected for like different reasons. And one of them was we didn't agree creatively. The other one was there's an immigration thing in there and we don't want to deal with that. And like it was just so crazy. And I was like, I spent all this money because every time I went, I had to like do my hair, have a makeup artist because I had to look 100%, good. Like I couldn't do my own makeup and just like my hair like I have now. So I spent thousands of dollars and nothing happened. But it was a fantastic experience, but it's a very hard business. It really is. And that's not perception. That is fact. So I don't know. Maybe you did the right thing, Dobie, by just being a comedian and going on the road.
Well, it's very few people in any field make it to the absolute pinnacle, the top. And it's not always it's talent. I remember one time I was in, and I don't remember where it was. It might have been Wichita, a city like that.
Yes.
Somewhere Topeka, Kansas, Oklahoma City. I don't remember where it was. They all run together after a while. But there was this restaurant, and it was like a French restaurant with these foods that are just delicious. And it was in a strip mall somewhere. And the guy loved comedy. So the comics got to go after one night of the show. It was our choice, and we could go have a free dinner. He would just treat us great, and the food was absolutely fantastic. I talked to the guy and I said, "Why did you come here?" He goes, "I had a New York, what is it, Juilliard, whatever. It's a school of chefery in New York." He goes, "I make a nice sauce. So did 5,000 other guys at this. It's just I came here. There's no restaurant like this within 1,500 miles. So it's a 5-star restaurant. My kids have a great life in school. My wife is from here. I love it. I make more money than I can spend. And people come to my restaurant as a destination. What's wrong with being the king here? And I said, absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
What is wrong with that? I think so many people think when they start in comedy, if I don't go to LA and get a sitcom and do all these things, I'm a failure. Not true.
Not true at all. If I would have stayed in New Orleans, I won the Best Actress in New Orleans like 2 years after I started acting. And of course, it was a comedy. And the people, I was a New Orleans celebrity, believe it or not. I would walk down the street or something and people would be, I know it's so crazy. But then I was like, I wanted more. And it wasn't that, yes, of course, we all want our own sitcom and to sell a show and to do our comedy and stuff. But I also feel like here in LA, there's such a creative vibe besides the predatory vibe. There's like true creative. You can find true, amazing, talented creatives. And I feed off of that energy. And I love it. So I'm happy I moved, even though I didn't get exactly what I wanted, which is totally fine. But the journey of being here and meeting all these amazing creative people, like Steve Scroven, he was an executive producer in Everybody Loves Raymond. He's a friend of mine. He's brilliant. I mean, I have so many people that I know that are just incredibly talented and have achieved so much. And I call them my friends and I feed off that creative energy and I love it. So I think it's a lot about the journey more than the destination. I realize as I get older. What do you think about that?
I could not agree anymore. And I have a show now about growing up in Wisconsin and all the things we just talked about, biker parents, grandparents, parents. I call it Schlitz Happened, an old Milwaukee Blatz from the Pabst. I came up with Schlitz Happened because I was doing cruise ships for a while. People from Wisconsin would come up and they ask me all these questions. And it's like, wait a minute, we're in paradise. Like you said, it's snowing back there. It's in February. It's 10 below zero. And you're asking me about Wisconsin. We're in the Caribbean. And I just said, when I had lived it one day, I said, hey, Schlitz Happened. It's like, oh, that's a good name for a show.
That is, absolutely.
And just you grew up in New Orleans, there's the news anchors and the DJs and the restaurants that people that grew up there would know about. I know it because I visited there, but you really know it because you grew up there. And the same thing, I thought, so I did it probably about maybe 40 or 50 times in Milwaukee. And it was about Milwaukee was the main course and childhood was the garnish. Now I'm putting it together again. I'm thinking, no, childhood has to be the main course. And
absolutely.
Milwaukee is the garnish because
100%.
There's millions of people coming out that have childhood issues.
Absolutely.
My sister and I didn't speak for 20 years. We had a great, reconciliation, things like that. And there's just different things like that. That's why people drink and do drugs and they have all kinds of issues. They didn't, their father died or their mother died and they didn't get back to them. So I have funny stories. It's not all, weepy.
Yeah, of course.
There's funny parts of it too. It's like, oh man, if you can make that funny. And I know people could, I ad-libbed that term dented can on the radio one day.
Yeah.
And somebody came up to me at the comedy show that night and said, I heard you on the radio today. I'm a dented can too. And they said it back to you. They didn't know my name. You know what I'm saying? But one of those things where that's just something that clicks because people think, I'm a dented can too. And it doesn't matter how big the dents are. We all have to pound them out and work on it. So I'm working on myself as a person. You can do that in LA or Milwaukee or anywhere else, and I think I love LA. I didn't like a lot of the BS there, but like you just said, people like you and just creative people, they're there. But the phonies and the wannabes, no matter how hard they try to be one, are never going to be one. And I think that's where the clash happens. That's where the jealousy happens because they're good at the business. They're not good at the show. So they get the special on Comedy Central, where you and I are out there slugging, being sincere, trying to help others. They couldn't care less. They wanted, Ray Kroc from McDonald's said, if my competition is drowning, I'll give them a hose.
But things are changing. Jose, thank you for this. Dented cans matter.
Thank you, buddy. That's funny.
Yes. Jose is very funny. I love Jose.
Funny. I love that.
Yes. And you know what? It's time for pictures.
Oh, okay.
My mystery man just private chatted me. He's
gotcha.
Like, time for pictures.
I've been running my mouth. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, I got a chance to work at, you talk about Everybody Loves Raymond, Brad Garrett's comedy club at the MGM Grand Hotel last year. And that was with Brad Garrett, who could not be any nicer. I only got a chance to meet him for a few minutes, but everybody said he's great. He's a big, tall guy if you've never seen him before. And his act is he rips people up. but he's just a nice, laid back, nice guy, great, funny, everything. And one of his opening acts is a guy named Rob Sherwood, who opened for Carrot Top. He said, "Hey, want to go over to Luxor and meet Carrot Top?" And comedians, they make fun of Carrot Top. A lot of them are jealous.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what you do. He uses props. I just stand up there and tell jokes. The audience doesn't care. They don't care. They want to laugh. Yes. Carrot Top is a smart guy, a funny guy. He's made millions of dollars. He pokes fun at himself. Very self-effacing, but he's a great talent and a super success. And I told him to his face, I said, I want to apologize not only for me, but for other comedians who think we're so pompous and better than you. Well,
absolutely.
And he was great, really, really nice guy. So those are big things that just happened last year. So as geezerhood approaches and old age gets here, I'm starting to rub elbows with some bigwigs. And and that's the same thing as you. You call them your friends, and they respect you because you treat them like people. Not, oh, what's it like to be a big star? That's the last thing they want to hear.
Absolutely.
You're a regular person.
Absolutely. No, they love that. And I do interview celebrities in my on my podcast here, and also when I did Love at First Laugh. And they're absolutely, it's people are like, treat them like idols, but then they're just regular human beings, and they're like you and me. They just got a sitcom, or they got a big break, and we didn't yet. Did you hear me? Yet.
Yeah, and at this particular point, I the big break to me was inside my own head, saying I am comfortable in my own skin.
Yes, absolutely. Same here. Love yourself first. I'm thinking, like, when I was doing stand-up, I was seeking validation from, probably it comes from my childhood, seeking validation from my parents and also from other people. And now, especially after my cancer healing journey, I'm like, I don't really care what people think, in a good way, not in like, in a bad one, but it's love yourself is the most important thing. If you love yourself and enjoy your own company, the rest will fall into place magically. That's my experience.
Totally true. And I don't know when exactly that happens, but I think it happens to everybody at some point.
Yes.
Some people, it could be on their deathbed. My father never got it. Never got a clue.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm 61, and I thought, boy, I didn't think I'd make 31. I didn't think I'd make 21.
Wow.
And it's just only in the last couple of years. I mean, I've been a physical health program. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So we won't get off on that tangent, but I turned it around with diet and exercise. I'm on day 886 of 10,000 steps or more every day. So that's about 5 miles. And I've been averaging this month. I've been getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, out and walking around. So I'm done by 6:30. I won the day. So if I can get done before 9 o'clock, I'm in a good spot. I feel better. I sleep better. I'm more creative. I dropped about probably, I think, 27 or 28 pounds.
Amazing. And I'm so happy for you. That's awesome that you're taking care of yourself.
And I feel it now. And, as a early 60s, it's like, okay, we could drop it at any time. And comedians aren't necessarily known for their health. They're,
right, because you eat crap on the road, right?
Heaviest thing you lift is a microphone. The farthest you walk is one step up on a stage. Not a high.
Yes.
You're not a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, and you're driving all the time. I remember when I went on the road, back in the day, it was just driving during the day, get to the gig, rest, do the show, eat, and the next day you don't do anything, and you prepare for your gig. I wouldn't do anything. I just wanted to be rested for the show, because even if you do 30 minutes or an hour, it takes a lot out of you. People don't understand.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'd like to say most people drive 30 to 45 minutes to work an 8 to 10 hour shift at a regular day job. Right. Comedians drive 8 to 10 hours to work a 30 to 45 minute shift. It's exactly my God.
I love that. I never thought about that. I love that. So finally, Dobie, I wanted to ask you what I ask all my guests. So what does your state of grace, which means your ideal state of being, that's what I call the state of grace. What does it look like today, and how has your journey shaped the man and comedian that you are now?
Excellent question. Again, thank you for having me on. Thank Mystery Man for being a fantastic producer. Usually I am I got some bug light somewhere, and I'm by a screen door next to a bait shop doing a podcast with some stuttering monk. I mean that in a friendly, if you're a stutterer or a monk, I have nothing against anybody.
Yeah.
But my state of grace is to the point where kindness is all that matters in my life. I know that sounds
Ooh.
corny. I know that
No,
sounds,
not at all.
I've come to that point. I've got a Facebook group called the Maxwell Method of Stand-Up Comedy.
Yes.
And I give away more that I probably should charge for it. And I live like a bug and I don't, but I'm thinking, you know what? Nobody helped me when I started. I just want to be kind and help people. And say, well, I don't have any money to pay you. It's look, it's call it karma, energy, whatever you want to call it. So I got 6,000 members from all over the world. And the reason I put my name on it, not for ego purposes, Colonel Sanders put his name and his face on the bucket of chicken. He didn't invent fried chicken, but he came up with his own formula and his recipe. And
Absolutely.
I think, okay, the best comedian to learn from is it's like the best carpenter. He's got the least amount of fingers. Okay, I just saw that one off. Okay, well, I did this mistake. Don't do that.
Yes.
Try this, do that. So to be a mentor is my legacy. If I never get famous, DRYBAR special, I don't really care. I'm a white, aging, Midwesterner, dime a dozen, bugs on a bumper. And you know what? I'm all about diversity and inclusion. I just think everybody should get a chance. I had a chance to live it. The best baseball managers were never the biggest stars. They're always a second or third stringer that played the game, but had a passion for teaching. I have a passion for teaching and mentoring. And I really cheer for people that, make it. And I honestly can say in all the life that I've had, I don't have the maniacal ego to need to be me. If Grace Frog to be famous, I knew her. She came to my conference. Boy, I helped her with a couple of jokes. I'm just as happy for you. I just got that bad habit called eating. I haven't been able to break that yet. I'm trying to do that. I just need enough to live. So how is my journey? That's it.
I love it. And we agree on that. I think my state of grace is joy, peace. And I think by loving and helping others, you get way more than just being selfish and seeking ego boosts. That's where I am. And I feel like it's, I love that comment. I know, Mr. Riemann, I'm not supposed to tell you, but I love Jose's comment. Dobie, you got a beautiful soul. I love that.
Thanks, Jose. And if it takes one to know one, brother.
And then, damn, I want chicken.
I ain't licking no fingers. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you guys buy the book. Where can we get the book, Monkey in the Middle?
I'm going to send you a PDF. It's Eckhart's Press. I'll send it how it's a long story. A guy I worked in radio with started a small publishing company in Chicago. Oh. So I went with him just because I have the one-on-one with him rather than a big publisher who you get lost in. Okay. They cost me, I think, $9.87. I sell them for $20. That's it. And I thought, oh, who's going to pay $20? Nobody has ever. I said, if you don't like it, I will buy it back. And people are like, I couldn't put it down. And I'm thinking, I just reported the story. You just heard a part of it that I told you. There's a lot of twists and turns, and it just cross country. We went to Las Vegas. That was in it, and it's just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I will send you one. It's Eckhart's, ECKHARTZ Press.com out of Chicago. I will send you that link. I don't know if you want to.
Yes. Send it to me so that I can put it in the description here and people can get it. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. Would you, here Jose is asking, would you do an audiobook version?
Well, that's the thing. It was a lot longer than the average book. I think they wanted 40 or 60,000 words or something like that. And I'm like 80,000. And the editor said, oh, I'll just edit it out. And he read it and he said, nope, there's nothing edited out. He goes, it's all meat. There's a story there. And it's just twists and turns. So it's a long one. So to do an audio version would probably take until the next 3 presidential elections are over. That's 12 years. Yeah. So thanks for that. But yeah, it would take a long time to do that.
I hear you. Well, I love your stories of resilience and humor and what you went through. And Monkey in the Middle, I'm telling you, that is definitely a crazy story. Not many people.
Hopefully it'll be a movie. That. I mean, before COVID, I was out there trying to get it made into a movie. So I think they'll get a couple. Well, I'm saying that, a couple of Wayans brothers who play me and Timbo, and I'm sure Caitlyn Jenner will be in it, and a duck puppet too. So
I love that.
It'll be nothing like the book, but that's how movies are.
Yeah, your book needs to be optioned for sure for a film.
Sure.
Yes,
I want you to be in it.
Happen.
I have no idea. I got it out with a couple of people, and it's just like you don't know when things like that happen.
You never know who's going to read it. That's why let's put the link here. Give me all the information, and we'll put it here in the description. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to have an after party with my audience. We have like a little private party and I just sip on some water. That's
Beautiful.
what I do.
Excellent. That's what you do, kiddo. You're a star.
Thank you. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, everybody. Grace. Thanks to Mystery Man and everybody who watched.
Awesome. Thank you, Dobie.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much. You guys. Oh, Howard, terrific show. Grace and Dobie, great way to start the weekend. I love it. I love that you guys enjoyed it. I know it, Dobie. I'm telling you, I put it on the thing on the promo. I knew it was going to be lots of laughs and also depth because he's funny and also deep and a wonderful man. And like I said, I've known him for 25 years. And my mom, he met my mom. My mom never liked anyone, but she loved Dobie. She always remembered him, and I hope he's listening to this, but I'll tell him. But she loved Dobie, and that was an accomplishment because let me tell you, my mom didn't like anybody. I don't like that person, Graciela. Let me tell you, no. You cannot be friends with that person. I'm like, what, do you really tell me who I should be friends with? And then if somebody, I would be like, oh, I'm still gonna be friends. And if somebody did something, bad to me, she would be like, see, Graciela, I told you. I knew it. I was like, shut up, mom. Moms know. So my mom loved him. So I know I knew back then he's a good guy. I knew it from my own intuition. And then my mom kind of put the seal of approval, But let's stay for the party. Maybe we can do a minute break if you guys, we can play something. My mystery man can play a couple of little commercial thingies. Let's not call it commercials because then YouTube is going to flag it, but things that I do. So you get to know other things that I do besides doing the podcast. Okay. So I'm, can they still hear me? Yes, they can. Okay. I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. So go ahead and play what you have, and I'll be back. And also, oh yeah, Laugh Your Cancer Off, please. If you can buy tickets, it's gonna be so fun because we're not just doing stand-up comedy. We're gonna do characters. We're gonna do sketch comedy. Baru and Faru are going to be there. Oh my God, they're so funny. And then we're going to have the tias, and you get to interact with the tias. We're going to have Angie, Racheta, and Bill, my character. So Angie and Racheta, like two gold diggers, and Bill, she was married 5 times. And she went up to the 5th grade because it was hard. So the 3 of them, for the first time, you guys are going to be together. So we'll see what happens when these 3 are together. So it's going to be bomb. So fun. And then we're going to have a Q&A after the show. So you can ask us anything, and we're going to ask each other questions about our lives. So it's going to be just a total incredible comedy fest. Laugh Your Cancer Off. It's a private event. It's $27.50 per household. So if you buy and you have 2 or 3 people in your house, that covers everybody. So you just buy 1 per household, and we will send you a link so you can watch it. It's a private link on YouTube, and it's going to be super fun. So I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. So roll the tape, mystery man, and mute me. Hey, I am back. I am unmuted now. So, okay, let's start the party, guys. Let's start the party. Okay, Mr. Mystery Man, there I am. Yay, I'm back. All right, so tell me, guys, what did you think about the show? I know that you loved it. And you tell me, I would love to hear, what is y'all's state of grace? What is your ideal state of being? If you can tell me in the comments, I would love that. Mine, I always say it and I repeat it. It's joy, have joy and peace, mostly peace. That's my ideal state of being. This is getting to, I was like turning on all the like fans and AC, but now I'm getting cold because it's getting, night and it gets colder in California. But what is your ideal state of being? And like I said, mine is joy and peace, especially as I get older. I want peace. I don't want anybody to like disturb my life or anything. And it's all about attitude. It's not just, external circumstances that happen to you. I feel like it's how you see them and how you take them. I used to stress out about like the smallest little BS stuff. And now I feel as I get older, I'm like, especially after my cancer healing journey, I'm like, you know what? You're alive, Grace. You could be unalived at this moment. So we're good. Okay. Just these little things like your bills and making sure you pay rent and somebody being bitchy. It's nothing. It's okay. So it's all about perspective. So what do you think, guys? What do you think about you all state of grace? I'm looking at the YouTube. I can't see. Okay. So we have some people still that are on. If you have any questions for me, by the way, I have a show now called Chat with Grace, and the next one, and you can ask me anything within YouTube, guidelines, and it's going to be on October 4th, and it's at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I've had one, and we had a blast. It was super fun, and but anyway, we might keep the party short. I'm not sure what's going on, but just, if you guys want to like put in the comments, I still have the COVID cough, if you can believe that. I had it like over a month ago. I'm telling you, this strand, be careful. It's super contagious, you guys. So make sure if you're like indoors and there's a lot of people, I'm wearing a mask because it was not fun. And that was my first time in 4 years that I got COVID. So, but anyway, if you guys, I know this show was long, so maybe we'll just keep this part like a really short after party. But let me know what your state of grace is if you want. If you don't, it's okay. And get your tickets for Laugh Your Cancer Off. If we can have that banner again, that would be great. Thank you so much. And Laugh Your Cancer Off. And they're never long, Jose says. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, just get your tickets. It's going to be such a great, fun, funny event. And we are super excited. And we are doing the fundraiser for Franz Place Center for Cancer Counseling. And the reason I chose that is because during my cancer journey, the physical part is, wow, it's extremely taxing on your body. But the mental part, like the psychological, the emotional part of it, it is really overlooked by doctors because we do need that support, that emotional support. And there's a lot of cancer counseling centers like France that does it for free. Because again, during your cancer healing journey, honey, you cannot work. If you work, you can work like just a little bit because you're always tired. You have I had 20 side effects. I'm not kidding. 20. Can you imagine? In 3 months, I had 20 side effects. It was torture, but the mind is, and the consciousness or the spirit, whatever you want to call it, is so much stronger than our bodies. And they actually can tell our bodies what to do like our brain does. So But it's the emotional part was really psychological part was really something I personally needed a lot of help with. And I had not only Fran, but another counselor. I got like 10 sessions with someone else who was truly my cheerleader. And her husband is an oncologist, so which is a cancer doctor. So she knew a lot about cancer. And she was, I mean, when I finished treatment and I told her my CT scan showed no evidence of disease, meaning I was cancer free, this woman cried because we had bonded so much. And she followed my journey. And, you know, sometimes I was always joyful and in pain a lot of times, but I tried to stay joyful. And like Dobie was saying, you know, find the humor in it. I wrote a whole comedy special, by the way, and a book, which I don't think we have a visual of, but my book is called Get This Off My Chest. And I should have sent you a visual, Mystery Man, but we'll do that next time. And you can get it at the State of Grace shop. And if you go on my Facebook and Instagram, you can see it. You can see the link because it's not showing on my website for some reason. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to fix that, but you can go to the State of Grace shop, and if you kind of look at there's a free like e-booklet, and you can click on that, and then at the bottom it's going to have suggestions, and it's going to be like one of them is the book. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I'll fix that very soon. So Get This Off My Chest is not just for cancer patients or survivors. It's for everybody, because we all go through trials and tribulations, right? And mine had just happened to be stage 3 breast cancer. Somebody else might have another tribulation. Look at Dobie. He had a million other things happening to him. And we all do. If you live long enough, you're going to have shit happening, right? And thank you. Glad you had a supportive circle of caring individuals. Yes, I did. Thank God. Your tribe, your community is so important, you guys, as you know. But like I was saying, the book is for everybody who wants to be empowered, and it has humor in it. It has depth in it. It's hopefully, you know, I know that a couple of you guys bought it. I see you, and give me feedback on what you think, you know, of the book and how it helped you. We can do that the next time. I'm gonna book in. Oh my God, you guys! In November we have Rhonda Shear from Up All Night. Remember back in the day, Rhonda and I almost became family because I was engaged to her ex-brother-in-law. So Rhonda and I are friends. I love her. She's amazing. And now she's like a lingerie mogul. And I think there's like a reboot of Up All Night or something like that she's working on. She put that on her social. So you're going to love Rhonda. She is hot. She is hot. She was hot and she's still hot. She's the sweetest. I love her to pieces. And then in October, I think I still have to book him. He said he has to figure out his dates. But probably Fred Melamed from the movie In a World. And if you haven't watched that movie, you need to watch it. Oh my God, he's brilliant on it. He's the nicest guy. You're going to enjoy him so much. You're going to enjoy him and Rhonda so much. And December, I'm not sure, you know, I'm sure I'm going to have some bomb as guest. But those are my two. Fred is not confirmed. And then Rhonda is confirmed. And you're going to freaking love Rhonda. Oh my God. So we're going to talk about her trials and tribulation and how she found her state of grace. I can't wait to hear it, because to me, this is also new, because I do know some of the stuff that happened to them, but you know, just getting to know them and getting to see how they overcame all these challenges, and, you know, whether it resonates with me or not, or resonates with you, it's interesting to see how other people deal with trials and tribulations. I think it's fascinating to me. The human spirit is so powerful. I don't think that we know how powerful and magical we are. I truly believe that. And I realized that during my cancer journey. I had no idea how strong I was until I went through it. I had no idea. I really didn't. I'm the type of girl, I'm such a chicken. Speaking of chicken, I'm sure I'm going to make you hungry, Jose, if I speak of chicken, but um I am the kind of person that like, just to give you an idea what a chicken I am. I went to damn, not one chicken, of course. Sorry, this chat site only allows so many words. Oh my God, really, Howard? Oh shit. Okay. Wow. Okay, sorry, I'm reading, Mystery Man. I'm reading before you post them. I apologize, but I'm reading. I can't help it. Very few of us really tap into it. Yeah, right. Absolutely. The chicken, you mean? No, I'm kidding. But anyway, bucket. I'm sorry, I'm laughing so loud. My microphone is probably gonna blast. But yeah, I know. I am vegan now, Jose. So I'm off chicken. I'm off meats. Sometimes when I cheat, I'm vegetarian, meaning I do, I can do like eggs, which I don't like eggs that much, and milk. I don't like it either. So I don't do that unless it's like in something sweet that I want to eat. They put eggs and stuff and to make it. But I'm fully vegan and whole foods, plant-based. I highly recommend it. If you want to stay healthy, and I put that in the last chapter of my book, include more plant-based foods in your plate. If you do 80% plant-based foods, which is, I'll eat your thighs then, wait, chicken thighs. I mean, you know what? I could use some diminishing thigh size. So I don't know. We might chop out the fat maybe, and you can I don't know, liposuction, but I don't know, because they can do it for free, maybe. No, okay, moving on. Was that? Oh yeah, 80% of your plate. And when I say whole foods, plant-based, beans, legumes, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and grains. But anyway, going back to like what a chicken I am, now that we did go for circle to the chicken. So we were okay. We were after my cancer thing, we went to Baja of the Grid. It's a place that a friend of mine owns. He owns a peninsula, and it is absolutely stunning. And he was like, girl, listen, you've been through hell. You can come to me here and I won't charge you except for like basic, like the cleaning lady and stuff, for the Airbnb. He has like 6 properties on his peninsula, and we stayed at the best one, it's called El Mirador, which means like the lighthouse. And so you could only see the ocean. Like, I was sleeping, and from my bed, I could only see, there were huge windows. I could only just see the ocean. I felt like I was on a ship or something. It was so amazing. The views were like spectacular. And but to get there, it's off the grid. Baja, Mexico, off the grid. So we had to drive a mountain road that the road was gravel. So it was like, it was kind of like sliding. The car was kind of like moving weird. And I saw Jesus a couple of times, let me tell you, and it wasn't looking good. I was like, I beat cancer. I'm going to die here on the road to back off the grid. No. But anyway, my friend, I was terrified. I was almost crying. I'm not kidding. And my friend was laughing because she was like, I never seen you like this. You're so strong. But I'm like, I'm so scared. I want to die here on this gravel road. So anyway, I had to have her drive. I was driving because I was like, I need to conquer my fear. No, I was crying, literally crying. And so I was like, it reached a point where you had to like turn, and it was such a steep, it was like a steep, road, and a turn that you couldn't see what was coming. And I was like, I just stopped the car. I'm like, you take over and you drive, because I'm going to die here. I'm going to kill us both. And, but anyway, yeah. So I am a chicken. I am a chicken. But when I had to be strong, and get through what I had to get through to live, because I wanted to live. That was my choice. It was, yeah, it was just incredible how strong I was. I couldn't believe it. And the human spirit is really incredibly strong. And I think we've been programmed to believe that, we're weak and sinful, quote unquote, and all religion and government and all that BS that has really taken away our power. And I feel like we are taking our power back. I feel this is a great time to live in, because I think a lot of people are taking their power back. And I felt like during my cancer journey, I did. Was Jesus in the passenger seat like, you can drop me off here? Yes. Even Jesus was afraid. I'm telling you, it was so scary. So scary. And then, let me tell you a story about when on our way back, we drove that gravel road. I cried some more. We had a great experience. We were there for like 5 days. Gorgeous. I didn't do anything. We just like looked at the, ocean. That was it. And because there's nothing to do. It's off the grid. So all you can do is walk dangerous paths, which my white friend, Heather, wanted to go and walk those little paths that you can they were like this big, and then there's a drop and you can like fall either on the ocean or on rocks. And so she wanted to do that. I was like, listen, that's some white people shit. You do not do that. Okay. I'm Latina. We don't do that shit. Okay. Yeah. So you're not going to walk there, because I need you to drive me back to LA, because I can't drive that gravel road. So you stay here at the house. I forbade her to walk because I was like, I need somebody to drive me back. So we drove back. We had so much fun, by the way, because her and I were always laughing. She's the one that took care of me during my cancer journey. White friend named Heather, new to me, says Jose. Yes, I know, right? She's kind of like a crazy white chick. Like, she's amazing. I love her to pieces. She took care of me during my cancer journey. So I am eternally grateful. And that's why I chose her to come with me to my friend's peninsula, right? And so we drove back on that gravel road. I didn't cry. I cried, but I didn't cry as much because she was driving this time. I was like, I'm not going to act all macho and think I can do it, because I cannot do this. So we drove back, and then we get to Tijuana, right? Because you have to cross the border and you have to go to Tijuana. Okay, listen to this. So I look whiter than her for some reason, because I'm like a white looking Latina, right? So the officer stops us because we did some illegal turn. Of course, we were bound to do that. And so we did, and they stopped us. And the guy was like, speaking in English, your birth town. I love it. Yeah. And the guy, let me tell you, there's some corrupt, and in Argentina, where I'm from, cops are also corrupt. But this guy, and I told the story, I think, on one of my chat with Grace or something. But this guy, okay, Heather is like all gringa trying to speak Spanish, and I'm quiet. I'm not saying anything. At the time, I had like short blonde hair because I was dyeing my hair back from chemo, and I dyed it blonde. And then I decided to go my natural color. This is my natural color. But anyway, so he thought we were two gringas, right? So he's like, talking to Heather, and Heather is like, pero, no puedo, and I'm like, oh, bitch, you're in. I'm bitch being the cop. I'm like, oh, bitch, you're in for a treat, because I am hearing everything you're saying. I understand everything. You think she's not understanding everything. So he said that if we didn't pay him, basically, in so many words, that he would have to take us to jail. No Nintendo. No Nintendo. I get it. No entiendo. No Nintendo. So he was like, you will go to jail, and, you can pay there cash, or you can, here's my portafolio, right? Which was, a portafolio is like a case, like I don't know how you say it in English, but anyway, like a little thingy that, like a leather thingy that has papers in it. So he opens the portafolio, And so I started speaking to him in Spanish, and he was like, oh, okay. Like, bitch, I understood everything you say. I know what you're up to. My girl doesn't know what you're up to because she doesn't understand what you're saying. But I understood every freaking word. And let me tell you, we're going to bribe you because we don't want to go to jail. I just drove down a gravel road, crying my eyes out. I saw Jesus twice. No, you can get, and we gave him like, I think it was like $100. I'm telling you. And he was like, okay, good, you can go. I was like, and then a tire blew up, our tire. And so we had to go happened to my dad once, told the cop he knew the police chief. Dad did. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my God. Well, we didn't know anybody. So I was like, here's $100. Thank God that Heather had cash because I never carry cash, which bad idea when you go to Mexico, carry some cash. Because if you get stopped by a corrupt cop, they all do that. In Argentina, it's the same thing. I know they all do it. Bribing, it's not even called bribing. It's like, give me a little tip, it's like you're tipping them. But anyway, so then a tire blew up because I had my old car and, it was a mess. And so we had to try to find a tire shop that had the tire that I needed. That was a nightmare. And then we stopped by this tire shop and the guy was so hot. It was like this little short guy. And I don't know why I have a thing for short guys. I don't know. I used to, not anymore, but I still do actually. But I don't know what it is. It's like maybe a power thing. I'm 5'7". If you wear heels, I'm probably like, I don't know, 5'11", I guess, or something. Yeah, like 4, I can even be 6 feet if I wear those heels that I can't wear anyway. So I'll never be 6 feet. But getting on my knees. Yeah. And but let me tell you. Yeah, I'm telling you, Jose, it works. Put some shoes on your knees. We're good. I don't know. I don't know. We're not going to say why I like them. I don't know why. I just like them. But anyway, so yeah, he was so hot and he gave us a great deal. And I was like, his muscles were like, oh, okay, never mind. Whew, it's getting hot up in this bitch. But anyway, so he gave us a great deal. I was like, this is so cheap. And the tire was okay. It took us back home and, I could use it later. It was okay. It wasn't like, I think it kind of matched, but it wasn't like perfect or something. Because when I took it to the tire shop again, they were like, this is not great. But, it took us home. And that was our Mexican adventure off the grid. It was really fun. But yeah, I'm a chicken, yet, I can be so strong, which is such a weird, thing. But I'm like a brave chicken. I guess that's what I am. I'm a brave, resilient chicken. I really am. People think like, oh, she's so strong. It's like, yeah, I am. But you know what? I'm a chicken, bitch. I'm a chicken. Why am I saying bitch so much? I don't know. I'm in a bitch mode today. I don't know what's happening. So tell me, guys, what is your state of grace? I see you guys are watching. This is so good. Okay, let me see. We have like the same amount of people. This is, oh my God. Okay, you need to animate these stories and narrate them. You know what? That's a great idea because I'm creating so much content right now. It's insane. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and yeah, oh my God, that's a brilliant idea. Thank you, Jose. Jose, by the way, I have a show called Golfing with Jose. Have you watched it, Jose, on my VIP on OnlyFans? Again, I have an OnlyFans account. It's for comedy. I don't do, adult work, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But did you, Jose, watch it on, because I think you were on my VIP for a while. I'll sit with a bucket and watch. Good. Okay. Yes, you should watch Golfing with Jose. He's a puppet. He's a pink unicorn, and he teaches me golf while he's trying to get in my pants. Total insanity. And now he's Jose. I have like I taped some little snippets with Jose. He doesn't even have like a mouth or anything, but he talks. It's me. But anyway, the puppet, like giving advice to men on how to get women. Oh my God, it is insane. But yeah, you're golfing with Jose. It's also available, Mystery Man. You can put the banner, the State of Grace shop. It's available there. You can purchase Golfing with Jose, or you can go to my Patreon, patreon.com/the State of Grace Fraga. And for $5.99, you can read all my books for free. You can watch all the series, as you know, and I keep dropping episodes every week. I drop stuff. And again, for $5.99, you can like do it for a few months and just watch all the stuff and support me if you want to support me. And I will also probably do some private parties there, because you can live stream and you can probably be more free than here on YouTube. So if you want to like join my Patreon, I would love for you guys to be there. Or you can get Golfing with Jose on the stateofgraceshop.com. And I also have like tons of t-shirts, funny. I have like 50 at this point, 50 funny t-shirts. And I have like funny mugs. I have desk mats. And I have some digital, like the shows and stuff and the books. So you can find all my stuff there. And I keep adding stuff also. So I'll sit with a bucket and watch. Oh my God, Jose. Join already, bitches. You know me so well, Jose. You know me. Yes, you know I'm going to say bitches. I don't know. Today is like the B word. I don't know why. Sometimes it's the M word, the MF word. And I just say, I don't know what it is with cursing. I grew up Italian. I'm from Argentina. There's a lot of us Italian, of Italian descent down there. I'm also Spanish. So I'm like Black Irish on the Spanish side. They're from Galicia, Gaelic, Irish. That's my green eyes. And then we have Italian, like I'm probably 3/4 Italian. So Italians curse a lot, and that was my point. That's why I was telling you about the Italian thing. And I grew up with my mom and my grandma. They would be talking, and they'd be cursing and saying shit. And then I would start saying curse words, right? And so my mom would hit me for that. And I'd be like, bitch, again, the word, bitch, you're talking to grandma with those words. Why can't I use it? Are they exclusive to you? Like, I questioned her. I was in kindergarten, and let me tell a story. And my mom was the music teacher because she was a pianist. She was a concert pianist. She was extremely talented and crazy, very crazy, very crazy, talented artist. Moth feathers. I don't know. Is that like, does that mean? Educate this little Latina, because I don't know what that means. Moth feathers. You need to educate me. What is that? What is that noise? Is that like one of your sound effects, Mystery Man?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You didn't hear a noise?
That was from Jose. He was beeping himself.
Yeah, I believe that. No, you didn't hear a noise? Am I tripping?
What noise?
Yeah. Oh, you are messing with my brain. Didn't want to say. Right. Exactly. I'm going to tell you the kindergarten story. You're messing with me, Mystery Man. I'm going to get you for this. So I was like in kindergarten, right? My mom was a music teacher. So like I was here and she was like here, right? She was teaching, and the door was open when she was teaching. It was a huge hallway, kind of like with stage and stuff. And then I was in kindergarten. So the kids would go to my mom when she was teaching music, and she would be like, your daughter is cursing. And we were like, I don't know, they were like kindergarten. And then like it was kindergarten. Because I was 5? Yeah, 5. And so my mom would stop whatever she was doing. She would go ahead and grab me outside and be like, what words are you saying? And I said, I'm saying puta, which means whore, by the way, in Spanish. and she was like, she would hit me because my mom was physically abusive. But it's okay. But don't feel sad for me. It's okay. I punched her back when I was 12 and she stopped hitting me. But anyway, she would like hit me. I was 5. She would hit me. It's like, don't say the word. And I would be like, why? I like it. Puta, puta, puta. And then she would hit me again. And I would start crying. I'd be like, but I like it. It's puta, puta, puta. And I was so stubborn that she would hit me and I would be hurting and I didn't want her to hit me, but I would still be puta, puta, puta. So yeah, at an early age, I rebelled against the stigma of why is this a bad word? It's just a word and you and my grandma are saying it all the time. So anyway, that's my cursing story. And I'm sticking to it. I didn't curse in kinder, but because I talked too much, the teacher put tape over my mouth. I love that. Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah, I didn't talk a lot. I was just like cursing because my mom did it. My grandmother did it. So why couldn't I do it? I was like a feminist, rebellious feminist back then. I was like, I am a little woman and I can say whatever I want. So anyway, yeah, that's I have some crazy stories. Let me tell you, I was a little cuckoo at an early age, but I always had a point and I had valid points. And eventually, as I got smarter and older, my mom could not defeat or debate my points because I was too smart for her at that point. She was very talented and smart, but I was kind of like the thinker type. So I would always analyze everything. And I was very observational because when you're are narcissistically abused, you become very observing. So because I wanted to make sure I understood why I was being hit or abused. I didn't understand why. So I was very observational and reached my own conclusions. Like I learned how to have critical thinking from the abuse. So see, there's always a positive. I'm not happy I was narcissistically abused, but yeah, I think that I am analytical, but that experience made me be very analytical and observational at a very early age. And I had my own thoughts. It was like these brilliant thoughts and questions that I would ask my mom when I was little, and my mom would be scared. And so every time I would be like, Mom, I have a question. She was like, uh-oh, what's she gonna ask me? It's like, yeah, it was crazy. Oh, okay. Okay. So Mystery Man has to go, you guys. I'm sorry, Mystery Man. I could chat with you guys forever. This is so fun. We're going to do a chat with Grace on October 4th, which is in 3 weeks at 7 p.m. I hope you guys can make it so we can chat. I'm engineering that show so we can stay. There's no time limits. Of course, my Mystery Man has to go. Usually we don't go this long. So yeah, he's got to go to bed. It's his bedtime. And so yeah. All right, you guys, I really appreciate you joining today. Again, the tape over the mouth. So yay. Okay. Yay. Okay. That's great. Yes. For the chat with Grace. Let's do it. I think that's what you're saying yay for. Jose, I gotta go get chicken now. Yes, I'm gonna eat too. I am hungry, you guys, because 2 hours of talking, like an hour and 45 minutes almost. I am hungry, and no chicken, imitation chicken maybe, with chickpeas. By the way, you guys need to watch episode 1 of season 2 of the Tias. Oh my God, it reminded me of the chickpeas because we have the battle of the chickpeas on the Tias. But you guys need to watch that, the Tias, and it's on my YouTube. If you're subscribed, you're just posting again. You need to watch it. It's hysterical. We have Rick Overton from The Office and Mrs. Doubtfire with us. We got him to do the show, and he's going to be back. We're going to shoot another episode with him. It is so fun. And the episodes we're going to shoot with him, oh my God, you guys are going to be blown away. They're hilarious. It's like, we have so much fun doing it, and we improvise everything. Everything is improvised. So check it out. season 2, episode 1 of the Tias. It's under characters, the characters playlist, and watch it because you're going to enjoy it, you guys. It's really fun. It's an award-winning mockumentary. So, I love you too, Jose. Thank you. And thank you for being here. Thank you. Yes, I'm so happy you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, go get your chicken, babe. Go get it. Go get the chicken. All right, you guys, I will see you very, very soon. Join already, bitches. Yes, join my Patreon. There you go. I love it, Jose. I'm going to hire you to be my PR guy. And I love Mystery Man. He's going through the comments. That's great. Fundraiser, laugh your cancer off. Buy your tickets. It's going to be just delicious. Deliciously funny. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you very, very soon. Mwah. You can take me out, Mystery Man. I'm done.
But you look so good. I don't.
But you said you're going to go.
I just wanted to let you just sit there. I know, I'm so weird. I'm so weird. I'll end the show.
Okay. Jose's going to go get his chicken. You got to go to bed. I got to get some food, some vegan shit. So we're all busy.
Whatever. Here we go.
All right.